I don't think the word kafir.
So just before that we start, so this is something. So right now in Wisconsin in the United States it's 4 a.m. So I'm doing this stream at 4 a.m. in the morning, um, because this has intrigued me really much. I was watching the Muslim Lantern gives Sneako advice. And if you guys can hear me, can you hear me? All right, you can hear me. So yeah, and so first thing first, I think that Sneako is going to the wrong person. So Muslim Lantern, if I'm not wrong, I think he's a Wahhabi or at least a Sunni. Wahhabism and Sunnism that is influenced by Wahhabism especially are they're not for resistance. They're not, you know, they're the type of people who are like sheep who would just listen and try to like sneak that they do not stand their ground usually. So I mean there are exceptions, but yeah, but I have noticed a bunch of things that been said wrong, like he's gonna speak about the word kafir per se, and yeah, let's just see what they got.
Is a negative thing. Now, this is where the disconnect is happening because you're using it in a way where because it applies to everybody who's not a Muslim. Anybody who's not a Muslim is a kafir.
See, this is wrong. The word kafir does not apply to anybody who is not a Muslim. This is wrong. Kafir, it means to cover, right? So it's with the word cover actually comes from the same root as from the word kafir in Arabic. Kafir is a person who is intentionally actively covering the truth. This is what the word means. A kafir, from an Islamic point of view, is a person who is actively covering the truth of Islam. So no, not anybody who's a non-Muslim is a kafir, because a lot of Muslims, I would say even most Muslims, they're not actively covering the truth of Islam. They're just ignorant, right? This is different from being a kafir, right? But I'm not sure if he knows and he just doesn't want to go into all the details or something like that. But this is important, His Nico is an important is going through some transformation, is going through some tough times, and it's important to put things into its own place. The word kafir does not refer to anybody who's a non-Muslim. Just want to put that out there.
But if it is only used as a negative thing, then people will start to think that necessarily only the bad people are called kafir. Okay, what about the other?
It is, in fact, the bad people who are kafir. Because as we said, word kafir means to cover the truth. In this context, is to cover the truth of Islam, right? So to cover it, not as in to show it, to cover it as in to bury it, like to take something and hide it with it, to cover it. The same way that you would cover your head with a blanket.
People who are not Muslim. They are by extension also kuffar. Allah says in the Quran, He's the one who created you. So among you is a disbeliever, a kafir, and a Muslim. These are the only two things. And a mu'min.
Again, this believer is not a kafir. These are two different things. I don't know if he's ignorant or he's pretending to be. I don't get that.
A believer and a disbeliever. There's only the two types of people that exist in reality. People who believe in Islam and believers and disbelievers. There's no other category. You want to say something? Yeah.
No, there's a lot of categories. I don't know if he's. Yeah, he's just not correct. He's just not correct, right? That is Ahl al-Dhumma. So there must. There is so many categories. What are you talking about, right? So there are the Muslims which are true to Islam who stood by the Prophet and his family. These are the Shias, the people who stayed true to the message and defend the Prophet. And there's, just around that you'd have the majority of the current Muslims, which are the Sunnis, which are the people who got the message of Islam but abused the Prophet and lost parts of the message along the way. So these people are not kuffar. Like I said, Muslims, they're just deviant. And then you have a lot of smaller groups. Now, outside of Muslims, you would have people who are muwahideen, people who say that Allah is one, that God is one, but they don't believe in the Prophet. There's Jews and Christians, which are Ahlul Dhimma. Then you have non-Muslims, and from the non-Muslims, you have some are mushrikeen, some are kuffar, some are spiritual, some are pagan. right? So there's different types of categories. A lot of it's not just two, and Allah will judge people based on their circumstance, right? So if you truly to your heart never knew that Islam was the truth, Allah will not punish you unjustly. You know, it will be just. It will be justice if you sincerely did what you could to come to the come to the truth. Then Allah will judge you as that. He will not judge you as, oh, too bad, you're not a Muslim. This is a human. This is the silly human understanding of Islam, or the distortion, or the distortion of the Wahhabis and some of the Sunnis.
Point. And I also reiterate all the time because they get really insulted by this word, right? The rhetoric
But
you've
they
seen,
should.
it's completely racist now. They say I'm brown, then like that I'm third worlder, I'm subhuman. They say goyim, you're goy, and it's like, okay, well you're a kafir. The difference is you will always be an Arab. I will always be Filipino and Haitian. I will always be, part white. I will always be this. You will always be a goy. Kafir is a choice. So I love using this word because
Man, I love sneako. I love it, dude. Sneako is a Shia at heart. He just does not know it yet. He got it, man. He understands it. He puts his heart on the line. This is something that Muslim Lantern, as you can see from his face, is not appreciating. Look at the Muslim Lantern face, like, oh my jeez. Look at this guy. He's taking it way too seriously. He might become a Shia. It's so funny.
they get insulted as if it's a slur that they can't change. The difference is you will always be the race you are. You will always be a Gentile. Kafir, you can change.
Although I want to say something. Although I don't agree with Muslim Lantern, sneako is, he's not dealing with this the correct way. Not from a religious point of view, but from a practical point of view. Because look, for those people, it's not the word, it's there a lot of low IQ dumb people, right? So when you use the word kafir, you trigger a part of their brain that goes into fight and flight response that they can't even think. They just think that you're coming to murder them because they've been brainwashed that way. So to keep using that word in this way is unwise. It's not a wise thing to do. You're not wrong. You're just not wise to do the way that you're doing it, sneako.
You are choosing this. That's why I love this word, and that's why when they get offended by it, I'll tell them.
But he's absolutely right. This is the thing. He's absolutely right. I just don't think it's the place to kind of use that if you're a wise person.
You don't have to be one.
Yeah, I mean, we will always have a flavor, and they will always be without flavor, like their food. So, I mean, that's a perfect thing. I love being a
like
person who have a flavor. I would be probably very sad if I was born in Europe. Everybody looks the same. All the countries look the same. All their food have those spices. The same thing. That's why they always go and eat our food. I mean, every time I'm in Europe somewhere, and I'm going.
I mean, he's correct, but there is some racism in that as well. Look, I'm the Muslim Lantern, saying that he would not like to be born in Europe. Like, he shouldn't talk about stuff like that, And what is wrong with being born in Europe? Look, it's Islam is not about race at all, I would be happy, doesn't matter what I was born, as long as I am with Allah and His Prophet and his family. Doesn't matter, black, white, brown, I don't care. I don't care what my ancestors are pieces of shit. No matter where you were born, there's a very good chance that your ancestors are pieces of shit. So I never do that, man. And also he's trying, like, it's just so funny. Like, I can see, like, he's trying to relate to sneako. Like, oh yeah, I am with you too. I'm a third worlder. I would hate to be born in Europe, and he's going overboard with that. And I don't know if sneako is buying it, but he's trying too hard here. To kind of appeal to sneako's point of view.
Into a halal restaurant, I find non-Muslims sitting and eating. I mean, if you guys don't like us so much, why you keep going to our restaurants and eating our food? Because they know they have no flavor in their food. Every time I'm flying,
no flavor in their food. no flavor in their food. Like, okay, we get it. You know, why you don't like the food of white people? That's fine. Why? What does that have to do with anything? You know, I really don't like that. You know, this is like borderline racist, if not racist. I just don't. What does food have to do with any of that? And why are you appealing in this silly manner? You're a grown man. Who cares about food? I want to kill myself every day. I eat wherever is on the table. You know, I don't pick and choose my food. Who does that? Or are you like a woman? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm going a little overboard, but it's just so annoying. This hypocrisy, this fake. I hate fakeness. You know, I just hate it.
With some airline, there's a European airline, and they serve me their own food. I'm like, what is this, man? How do you guys eat this stuff? So we don't have any issues with that.
How do you eat this food? How do you like this is like at this point like you're being like, look, as a daya you're supposed to be better than this. This is the blessing of Allah. This is food so you can eat. You don't make fun of food. This is un-Islamic. He's being un-Islamic right now. Man, I wish Sneako got like better people to talk with. I wish I know he would never talk to me per se, but I wish he had somebody who was like me in his vicinity that can just point him to the correct path, you know?
Let them see, let them look, be angry, let them bite their fingertips of the hate that they have. There's no problem. And I know the word does annoy them because they think it has negative connotations, right? But the reason I am not using that word, for example, I would use
Why is he saying they think it has, like, as if it does not have a negative connotation?
An Islam hater or some other word, is because I believe that word applies to all of them. So I'm trying to find the word that doesn't, from an Islamic perspective, you get what I'm saying? It applies to all of them. I'm trying to find the word that applies only to the evil ones among them, right? So there is something like that in Arabic, but it's not going to work. Like,
it is. The word kafir is specifically for people who are intentionally opposing Islam, knowingly, intentionally, knowing that it's the truth, or they don't care about if it's the truth or not. And they actively, you know, spread bad stuff about it. Is, you know, trying to make it look worse. This is what kafir means, to try to make the truth, to cover the truth, to make it look worse. You know, like you've seen a beautiful scene and you cover it up, you cover it with lies, right? This is what a kafir is, and it is a word that would describe that. I don't know what's he going on about here.
so disbelievers in Islam, they have categories. So you have a disbeliever who is a mu'ahad, someone you have a treaty with. For example, the overwhelming majority of the lay citizens, we have peace treaties between our countries and their countries, and passports are all treaties between us and them. So there are people of treaties, right?
Look, the moment he's mentioning that, I'm suspicious of him. He might be a Wahhabi, because only Wahhabis consider the current countries, states as legitimate. From an Islamic point of view, these current states, none of them are Islamic. You don't have an Islamic government right now. Maybe you do have it like in a place like Iran and Afghanistan, but in the Gulf, or where this guy is from, we don't. So the fact that he's using this that way is a red flag.
Then you have a disbeliever who is a muharib, who is an enemy of Islam. Right? That is a muharib, he's an enemy of Islam. That is their category. They have a specific category in Islam.
Muharib means fighter, somebody who is fighting Islam.
That's what we call them. We call them muharib or kafir harbi. That is the real Islamic way of referring to them, right? So
kafir harbi means a war kafir. So a kafir who's fighting you, and he is right about that. You know, there's like different categories. Like a kafir who's not fighting you. He's just, you know, he's just doing a propaganda. He's not fighting. You know, he's not fighting in that sense. You know what I'm saying? So he's correct about that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of details that I don't want to go into necessarily.
Trying to find something like that in English to use for them, because it's not just a kafir, but it's a kafir harbi specifically, right? Because you have a kafir we have a treaty with. You have a kafir who's a dhimmi, who lives under Islamic State, right? The word dhimmi also annoys them a lot if you call them a dhimmi, because like, oh, you're living under Islamic State. They don't like that word as well, right? So there's many words that they don't like in reality. I don't see any issues. You can use that word. I believe you can use that word. I don't see that as a problem. What I was talking about is going to too extreme, like the tweet I highlighted to you, right? It's like the rage bait tweets. We don't have to always rage bait them, right? It doesn't matter.
He is correct about that. You don't have to rage bait them. This is an unwise move.
You can say the word kafir, but try rage bait them with the truth. You know, you've already seen this yourself when you talk to Christians.
Right? What have I said that's false?
Like I give you the example, that tweet, like saying. By the way, haven't been following a lot, but I saw that tweet, which you've been saying that they should be lucky to talk to us or something like that.
Right,
That's
so
not true. I mean,
what's
like,
false about that?
No, it's not. Like we're all human beings. Like
I think that Muslim Lantern is struggling to convey what he's trying to say. He's, at least from my understanding, he's like, just why the rage baiting? It's not about if you're saying truth or not. You're good to say truth, but it's like in this situation right now in the US, in this climate, if you want to support Islam, it is not like that. It's not to rage bait. You know, you go into defense. You want to go into defense. You don't want to go. And it's, I mean, you can go in the offense, but you have to be smart about it. You can't make people repel from you. You know, like most of the population in the United States are white, right? So if you say things that white people are brainwashed to view in a certain way, then you are losing as an influencer. You know, so that's, I feel like, what this guy is trying to convey.
why they should be lucky to talk to us?
They're lucky to hear the truth. They're lucky to be in the
okay, but you know, I say okay. Now you're adding.
No, but your point was that I should rage bait them with the truth. That's why when I say Islam, inshallah, the world would become Muslim, they get angry. But this is the truth. I don't
find the problem with that as well. I don't find the problem with. That's why I never highlighted this. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think because this highlights their double standards. But for example, you've experienced this, right? When you, for example, talk to Christians and say to them, "You eat your God," what happens? What do they start doing? When you start telling them,
they start coping and lying.
Yeah. You start telling them all you need to do is to tell them their belief. You really don't need to do much with disbelievers. All you have to do is to tell them their own faith. All you have to do is to tell them what's in their own scripture. You don't have to say anything that is necessarily maybe vaguely interpreted in that way or this way, right?
So you don't think the kuffar are lucky to speak to us?
I don't think. Look, that's what I'm saying. If a sincere, honest person is speaking to me, I don't think he's lucky to speak to me. Who am I? He's just a normal person. I'm a normal person. He's lucky Allah guided him.
Yeah, he's actually right about that. So I think sneako is doing this ego thing. You know, when your ego gets so much damage, so you have this reaction that, no, I'm not small, I'm big, I'm important. You're lucky to even speak to me. Yeah, this is not an Islamic attitude. A Muslim person should be humble
to hear the truth.
Exactly.
But that's for Allah, not for me. I'm not like such a great person that they're lucky to talk to me.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're lucky.
It comes from a.
I'm saying they're lucky Allah chose them to hear the truth.
No.
The problem is the ego. Sneako is having this reactionary ego. This is what the problem is.
But that's how it's understood. If you read that tweet, then people will understand it to me, because you mentioned nothing about hearing the truth. You only say that they're lucky to talk to us, so you make it about us. Right? I'm being honest with you. Look, if you want me to lie to you and tell, oh, you're doing good, Sneako.
I appreciate that's why I'm asking you. I'm looking for genuine feedback. That's why I'm asking you. But I see that as the same thing as saying that you eat God by consuming the Eucharist. It's the same thing. They will interpret it in a way where they get offended, but it's still the truth. They're lucky to hear the message of Islam.
Yeah, they're both not getting it, and especially Sneako. Look, the words are not what people think. Look, when you say so, I will give you an example, right? I was born to a Muslim family, right? I'm a Muslim. I'm a proud person who calls myself a Muslim, a Shia Muslim at that, right? And anytime somebody, especially who's older, especially who is like a parent, you know, tells me, hey, are you praying every day? Are you doing the salat? I immediately have a high cortisol spike, you know. I immediately just I don't want to talk to this person. Why is that? Because I've been abused so much as a kid using these wordings. Not that the salat is bad, not that Islam is bad, but words are not what you think. They're not. There are emotions attached to them, right? There's emotions, there are memories. So words can mean different things to different people. So you see it that way, they see it a different way, right? And in communication, if you ever want to college, you would know that it's on the communicator, this burden to communicate in the most correct manner that the listener could understand, or the receiver of the communication could understand. So you don't talk in the way that you understand. You try to talk in the way that the other understand. And the other person, they don't see it the way that you see it. So it's on you to try your best if you want to talk with them, if you want to convey to them a message sincerely. If you're trying to do that, then you should speak in a language or in a way that they understand, not in a way that conveys the wrong meaning to their head.
Just like they are.
Okay, if you said that, nobody would be upset. What? Why didn't you word it that way? You see?
Do you understand? But do you
You're
understand?
lucky to hear the message of Islam. I'll give you a thumbs up for that. Absolutely. I'm lucky to hear the message of Islam too. Everybody is.
But so how is that different than saying, inshallah, the world's Muslim? I know that this is going to make them upset.
No,
because,
there's no problem. But I didn't talk about that as well, right?
But they got way more upset about that.
Yeah, the reason they got upset about that, because honestly,
It's the image.
that statement have no issues, but how you presented it has an issue. You said F you. Okay, don't tell me that's good to say. Okay,
No, it's not.
Come
It's
on.
not.
Yeah,
I had-
all right. Okay.
I do need to work
so
on it.
if
It was
I start,
personal.
if I start a video by saying F you, that is like, come on, this
Right.
is clear
Oh,
rage.
I'm not
bait,
gonna, you're
Like,
absolutely
come on.
right.
No,
This is a personal.
He's rage baiting. I think that I feel like maybe Sneako is trying to pull a Nick Fuentes here. He's trying to rage bait views.
thing that I'm working on. It's because Australia banned me from their country. They revoked my visa because I'm too anti-Semitic for criticizing Israel. Egypt beats Australia in the world.
Wait. I just seen a comment into the corner about Shia. I don't know what to say.
Revoke my visa because I'm too anti-Semitic for.
Little like there's here. Understandable, but let's say the Shias that do not commit shirk and don't have issues with Aisha, it's not that bad, right? This is like a whole different conversation on its own. That is so funny. We're here talking about, the kuffar and all of that, and in the comments they're totally off the rails. They're just talking about if a Shia does not commit shirk and don't have issues with Aisha. All right.
criticizing Israel. Egypt beats Australia in the World Cup. So I'm going, no. But, this is me.
Yes.
I have to remove some of that personal thing. But look, I mean, this is a country
it's just
banned.
I mentioned that to you before, right? I told you about the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. They said that if you speak to people with a way that their minds are not going to comprehend, it's going to be a trial for them. It's going to be a test for them. It's going to confuse them. Can lead them to misguidance. It's necessarily what you say. There's the story about a king, right? A king had a dream. The dream is he saw all his teeth fall.
Oh, I love.
And he had two people that came to him.
So this is not a king. This is actually one of the caliphs, but he would not want to say that because that's a Sunni caliph, and so he'd be like, "Oh, the caliph is a tyrant." But yeah, no, it's not a king. It's one of the caliphs in the Islamic. I think the Abbasids caliphate.
To interpret his dream. The first person that came to interpret his dream, he told him, "You will see all your family die in front of you." So he ordered that he's executed. The next person that came was smart. He told him, "You will outlive all your family." He said the same thing. But it's just how is the truth. It's the same thing. You will watch all your family die. You will outgrow all your family. It's the same thing. But how you worded the truth has an impact, always has an impact. If you look at the Prophet ﷺ, how was his da'wah? If you want to imitate, you don't imitate me, you don't imitate the random Josh Moore, you don't imitate them because we're supposed to be better than them.
Right.
We're imitating the Prophet ﷺ. When the Jewish people were passing by and they told the Prophet ﷺ, "May death be upon you," Aisha radiallahu anha started giving them some insults back. The Prophet told her, "Why? Stop. You didn't hear what I said to them? I said upon you as well." That's it. He didn't go to extreme. He didn't get angry. He didn't get upset. He said, "Just upon you.
Yeah.
If you're saying something upon me and upon you too." So it's how you do. And by the way, that rages them a lot more than them saying you upset and angry or whatever. That you couldn't care less about what they say.
Mm-hmm. Even then, in the masjid today, I've been going to class every day. It was talking about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. He's speaking to his father, who was selling idols and he was worshiping idols. And when he called his father to Islam, He spoke in a low voice.
Yeah.
He spoke gentle. He was respecting his father.
Yes.
And then his father
Yes.
got enraged, and then he stayed gentle. And then Prophet Ibrahim, he kept trying to give the message. And eventually his father
Yes.
expelled him from his house. And even when he's leaving the house, Prophet
He
Ibrahim
threatened
says,
to kill him, actually.
he said what?
He threatened to kill him. His father threatened to kill him if he doesn't stop.
Yeah, and then the thing Ibrahim said, alayhi salam, when he was leaving the house, he said, "Peace be upon you. I will ask forgiveness of you. I'll ask forgiveness of my Lord for you. Verily, he is unto me ever most gracious." So even when he was being kicked out and threatened, he still said, "Peace be unto you."
Yes. So the Prophet ﷺ, you know, the head of the hypocrites that was an enemy of the Prophet ﷺ, he insulted the Prophet multiple times. He was trying to plot to kill the Prophet. He was trying to do everything. When he passed away, Prophet ﷺ went to pray on him. Allah forbade him from seeking forgiveness to the disbelievers. And Allah said, if you seek forgiveness 70 times for them, Allah is not going to forgive them. 70 in the Arabic language is used for a lot of times, right? Prophet still tried to seek forgiveness for him. And he said, Allah forbade me 70 times, but I can do more. He didn't say that I cannot do more than 70 times, right? And that was one of his main enemies, right? Yeah. And there's also the narration about the using his own clothing as a shroud for him. Because his son came to him, he said he requested that from him. And the Prophet gave his own clothing as a shroud for his enemy that died as a disbeliever.
Well, what about the comparison I can make? You know the story where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is praying at the Kaaba, and Abu Jahl and several others, some of the mushrikeen, the kuffar, are laughing and watching him pray. And as soon as he goes into sujood, they take a bucket of camel intestines and they pour it on the Prophet's back while he's praying. Camel intestines. Yes. And his daughter Fatima, peace be upon her, she comes out and she starts yelling and she's upset and she's cursing out the people that put the camel intestines. Prophet Muhammad gets up and she's trying to clean the
I just want to say something. So when he said his daughter Fatima, peace be upon her, Muslim lantern, I don't know, his eyes kind of moved. Because I'm a Shia and I'm very, I pay attention to any time that the Prophet family is mentioned. So I'm like oversensitive. So it might be nothing, but I'm just saying, like, he moved his eyes in a weird way. He's like, because Sunnis, they don't say peace be upon Fatima. I don't think they do that.
He's praying camel intestines, and his daughter Fatima, peace be upon her, she comes out and she starts yelling and she's upset.
Yeah, he's like, his eyes kind of close weird,
and she's cursing out the people that put the camel intestines. Prophet Muhammad gets up and she's trying to clean the camel intestines off of him, and he makes dua and he says, "Oh Allah, humiliate them." And then eventually all of them died in the Battle of Badr. So
absolutely,
although yes, we want people to be guided, this is an example where people that deserved humiliation, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, prayed for it and it happened. So
you can do that.
So
there is no problem.
Why did he not ask? Why did he not pray for
the
the guidance there? Why not pray for their,
Well, the Prophet ﷺ, let's first highlight a few things, right? The Prophet ﷺ tried to guide them throughout many years of calling them into the message very, very gently. And even after the incident, he still tried to do it. He still continued to do it until the battle, until they were killed. So it's not that the Prophet made that dua and that was it. No, he still continued his message. But there was moments where the Prophet ﷺ had enough of them, and it is his right to make dua upon them. But he left it for Allah. He left it for Allah, right? But again, you're missing the point. There are instances where the Prophet ﷺ did this, and there is instances where the Prophet ﷺ did this. But in the end, the Prophet ﷺ never exceeded the limits.
I think I see the problem here. So, Sneako is angry. He's been betrayed so bad, right? And he has a lot of emotions, and he needs to let out. He wants to harm the people who betrayed him, which is very understandable, right? And I think that Muslim Lantern is giving him a closed road. I think this is where Shia would really help. Shia Islam and Shia Muslim would really help Sneako to how to channel your anger and your fighting in a correct manner. I disagree with Muslim Lantern to be meek and all that. No, but also to not be unwise. To be smart, be wise. But yes, you need to channel your anger in a correct way.
Right? He never used foul language against them. He never, that wasn't his intention to try to just get them angry and upset by doing things that they're not going to like. This wasn't his way. Right? So it's about being balanced in what you do. Nobody is telling you be just like a pacifist. We're not pacifists. Right? Islam is not pacifism. Those people who tell you the word Islam means peace, Islam doesn't mean peace. Islam means submission. That's what it means. That's what the word means. If the people who keep saying it means peace, no. That's not what the word means. That's not what the scholars have said the word means. The word means submission. We are peaceful people who want.
So Islam, it can mean different things, right? So it has a root word which is, it would mean to be safe, right? So it could be interpreted in many ways. And in a way it is it's to make peace with Allah, is to submit to Allah and his messengers. To say that it never means peace at all is incorrect either. It doesn't mean peace generally, not necessarily though, but not zero, you know what I'm saying? Like the word itself can mean peace in a specific context.
To be peaceful, and we will defend ourselves against people who are not peaceful. We are people who are balanced in our approach. That's what the word Islam means. That's what the Islamic approach is. Nobody's telling you just like humiliate yourself, put your head down, be scared. No, I told you. Umar ibn al-Khattab, in the beginning, I told you, I mentioned this to you maybe before or not, I'm not sure.
Umar ibn al-Khattab, I don't know, man. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just leave it be.
Umar ibn al-Khattab, in the beginning of the message, where he was told to know, hide your faith or whatever, no, he said, are we not upon the truth? And he went and he screamed them back and he went to do pilgrimage and he fought with them actually. He wrestled with them the entire day until sunset. And then they were like, they had nothing to do, right? But they attacked him.
Dude, sneako has a Shia heart. He knows it. He's a true Muslim, not like these fake people, and I don't think Muslim Lantern is realizing, but he's not making good or convincing arguments. He might be very good against the Christians and all of that, but I don't think he's good, with helping people like sneako. Sneako needs a Shia brother. He needs a Shia brother, man, because that's where all the passion is.
First, of course, and he said we're upon the truth. So he said to them, we're upon the truth. They attacked him. He defended himself. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But I'm telling you, everything has its limit, right? Like the language used, the way the people are gonna take the language. Okay, is our goal? Do we want guidance for people or not?
Yes.
I mean, if I want you to think about this. Okay, take it this way.
Think about this.
Has there ever been in your life a time where you didn't think good of Islam? I know that from early on you read Malcolm X, but have there ever been a time that you were like, or no?
Have I ever had doubts?
Yeah, no, not doubts. Before you became Muslim, that you thought Islam was not good or Muslims are this.
Yeah, there's a video I made about 2014 where there was the Charlie Hebdo attack, and then the people were shot, and I made a video attacking. I was about 15 years old, and then when people explained it to me, I realized what I was wrong about, and so that was a time where I had a very negative view. And I realized the truth, and I actually ended up correcting a lot of what I said. This is a long time ago.
Okay, let's say you only saw the incident, and then let's say you saw yourself, but it was someone else. It wasn't you, and he was doing what you were doing. What is the first thought that is going to come to your mind in that time? I mean, you just saw all this propaganda, saw one propaganda about Charlie, and then you start seeing this video of this guy, streamer, screaming, "F you! The whole world is gonna be this." What is the first thought is gonna come to your mind? And be honest. What is the first thought that is gonna come to your mind?
That I'm being provocative, and that I am leaning into the obvious propaganda, and that I'm fighting back.
If you have a bad I'm saying you have just a negative
okay,
influence.
If I have a bad image,
you at that time you just had the bad image, and then you saw a streamer going and making a video saying what you said in just exactly your video. What is the first thing that is going to come to your mind? You're going to be like, okay, like this is crazy. I need to react somehow.
I might have some respect. I'd be like, okay, well, this guy's not folding. This guy is not compromising. Not really. Wallahi, this is.
What would you think is good? You think is good?
I saw some videos from these two leftist New Yorkers, the New York Jews that are very critical of Israel and its occupation of Palestine, and they were watching it and they watched the clip and they said, yeah, he's rage baiting. This is what the American founding fathers did when they were proposed with more taxes. They tar and feathered the tax collectors. They dumped the tea in the ocean. They said that rage bait is as American as it gets. When the taxpayers came in, they would slander them and write words on signs that were disrespecting the occupier from England.
Sure.
And so they said like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a streamer and he is not compromising to Elon Musk's racist rhetoric. That's an I mean, they didn't have
So-
like a
so-
completely negative view, but they're the type of people
Yeah.
that were saying, oh, I don't believe in organized religion. See, watching them, they literally said this was admirable.
Yeah, but the founding fathers were a group of Freemason deists. Why would I copy them?
No,
I'm a
they
Muslim.
said that what I said in the clip, inshallah, the world's Muslim is as American as it gets, right?
No, yeah, but again, you're talking about these people. I'm talking about someone who has a negative view. I used you as an example for that reason. I said that time because you already have you had a negative view. You watched Charlie. You heard these people just unalive this guy, right? They just completely attack this guy, and now this guy's saying "f you" to me. And that the whole world is going to be Muslim.
I was saying it to Australia.
You're not going to be like, oh,
I was saying it
I
to
respect
Australia,
that.
but they didn't understand the context.
Bro, look, I know. I know it's out of
let me respond.
context. I'm trying to deliver a
this did
different
happen.
point.
Afterwards,
Yeah.
people that have negative views of Islam, Steinberg, and Alex Jones, they came and Mossad sent their 2 agents. I did a debate with Alex Jones, crushed him. And Steiny, he tried to say I'm a hateful person. I crushed him too. So
Yeah.
they have a negative view of Islam. And I use that opportunity to spread a good message and be of good character. I came in with a nice suit. I'm speaking eloquently. I'm presenting my points in a good way. Alex Jones is double my age, and I crushed him. Steiny, he had nothing to say, and I demolished him. And people said,
Look, I want to say he didn't crush. Sneako, he doesn't know what he's like. Yes, he crushed him logically, but that was never the field. You know what I'm saying? You won the wrong battle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you came to a baseball match and then you played soccer and you won your soccer game, but the game was not soccer; it was baseball. So you lost. You lost because you fought the wrong fight. You didn't play what was being played. What was being played in that thing between Alex Jones and Sneako is that how do you say that? It was to show Sneako in a bad light to white people, to make people hate Islam more. And Alex succeeded in that. It's not about the logic, If you have a dumb, low intelligence populations, how you appeal to them is not logic. You would need to see how they think, how they feel, how they form their opinions, and you need to speak with that, right? So Sneako, he absolutely lost that debate. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't win. I mean, he won maybe his people, which no, but I don't think that's even a win. That's not a win because your people will support you no matter what. They will see things in their point of view. No, he didn't win. He lost people there.
oh, even his fans were like, wow, Sneako's very smart. It made me look like Einstein. It made me look like a genius next to him. So you can use these opportunities to get these conversations and then spread a message of dawah and of real Islam.
I just want to see the comments just really quick. Here, let me just delete some of the stuff here. I will keep the declaration of faith. Okay, look, I made a comment. Come on, where you at? Okay. Muslim Lantern, so mature and classy. Okay, I don't want to see the top comments. Let's see the newest comments. They would have an issue debating if they had an actual argument. I haven't heard a single rebel against an Islamic dilemma. I mean, this is also true. Okay, so everybody have positive comments, basically. Oh, just normal video.
But if they are clip farming
Sure.
and they're doing all this propaganda, it's like, what's the best way to fight back against it?
Okay. How many millions of people saw the clip that didn't see your interaction with Alex Jones and Steiny? How many millions in the future will? Because this clip of yours will be, there are clips they're still using from 20 years ago. This clip of yours will be continuously used in the future. You cannot rage bait your way into delivering the message. That is not the way to do it. Because I told you that will be misused for many people.
This basically is in the heart of the issue. I think that Sneako is trying to pull a Nick Fuentes, and that's one part. And then the other part, as I said, he feels angry that he's been so betrayed, and he wants a way to get back at them, and he doesn't see a way how. And Muslim Lantern is not giving him a a way out. And Sunnis, I don't think they will give him a way out. It's only Shias that will give him that, and will teach him and will guide him. Yeah, but yeah, and beside that, she's trying to like learn from Nick Fuentes in a way, and that just doesn't work. You're not, yeah, you can't do that. Not because you're worse or anything like that, but because what Nick Fuentes does works in his situation, right? It does not work in sneako's situation. One of the big parts, because he's a Muslim, and he is right. You cannot rage bait your way to deliver the. I mean, you actually can, but not this way.
People that are not going to see this. Yeah, if every single person who saw the clip saw your interaction with Alex Jones, I'll give you a thumbs up. But that's never going to be the case.
What if the intention, like obviously dawah is extremely important. I also want to empower the Muslims because we are oppressed so much and they're trying to inspire people to murder us, right? Pablo's fan shot up the San Diego Masjid and he hasn't condemned the attack allegedly. His name is Chudsel Groiper in the manifesto and he names Pablo in the manifesto. So Muslims are living in fear. They're like, okay, can I practice my religion? Am I going to get shot? Can I go to the Masjid? Am I going to be safe? I'm spreading this message. And I remember I was reading the book about the commanders of war. And at the time, all the warriors are really tired. They're doing all this battle. They're exhausted. They're thirsty. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, yes, it is true. I'm the messenger of Allah and I'm the son of Abu Talib. So at a time of calamity when everybody...
It's just funny. Abu Talib. So for people who are not native Arabic speaker, his name is Abu Talib. Talib, right? If you say Talib, it's alright, I just hear it funny because I'm an Arabic person, so it was my first time hearing it, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of cute. Abu Talib. Okay.
He is tired and upset. He inspires them with confidence. He doesn't back down. He doesn't feed into the fear. He gives them a message of power and of strength. That's what I'm hoping to do. But right now, they're ramping it up, and they're going to continue to ramp it up.
I see sneako's point. I understand it now. See, it's not about the other side. He's trying to give the Muslims a feeling of like to be strong, to not be weak, to not cower, not fall into anxiety and depression. So I understand that point of view, and he is right. And again, I advise Sneako to have a Shia brother with him, because if you don't, dude, you're not gonna succeed.
And I've understood this, and we all know it's going to continue to happen. Instead of being scared, and instead of like trying to bend over to it, I want to show them to their face, the enemies of Islam that want to kill us. Say, I'm not scared.
Sneako, you need Imam Hussein. You need Shia Muslims. Because they're the ones who know how to fight tyrants. They know the one to fight like an underdog. You need the Shias. You can't, like, you will lose if you truly want to support the Muslims and you want to fight like the underdog. You should, have a Shia brother by your side to guide you through this.
Inshallah, the world's Muslim. You're a kafir.
Nobody's scared. Yeah, nobody is scared from a guy that looks like a cyber.
I don't know. So Muslim, I understand that he's not scared. I understand that many people are not scared. But in the U.S., look, the way how the society in the U.S. is, if you've been here, if you lived here, if you're part of this society, there is a big focus on image, but the core usually is not what the image is. So everybody like, oh, we're not scared, blah, blah, but no, people are scared. American people are easy to scare, whether they're Muslim or not. This is just a fact of society,
Cybertruck, man. His own Cybertruck. Nobody's scared of that. This guy trips over himself and falls. He doesn't even know how to walk. Bro. Why would I be scared of an idiot like that? Nobody is scared of them, but you're missing the point. What is the propaganda that's trying to spread?
Muslims are evil. Muslims are terrorists, and Muslims are.
And what do they want to happen? What do they want to happen?
They want to start a race war.
They want to start a race war. So what I do.
Wait, this is not a race war, though. You see, I mean, but I understand his point of view. I mean, I understand what, okay, let's call it a race war, even though it's not about race. Muslims are not a race, but okay.
When I make a video where I say F you and we're going to do that, what I'm doing is feeding into that propaganda. Like it or not, Sneako, that's the reality. I'm feeding into that propaganda to their audiences who are the idiots
Right.
who don't go research
That is
anything.
exactly true, yes.
And they're gonna think that, okay, yeah, this is true. So now let me go and do something about it. Let me be a vigilante. And yes, of course, we can empower Muslims, but those Muslims as well, if we push them the wrong way, then those Muslims are going to also feed into that same propaganda, and that exact war that is meant to happen is going to happen.
It's going to
And
happen.
that is not of
This is
benefit.
prophesized. But not only
No,
this,
no, not necessarily. No.
look, when I said "fu," I'm talking.
This is an interesting few seconds, you know. He said, Sneako said, of course it's gonna happen. Is who prophesies, and some of them said no. So one of them is preparing for that. The other person is trying to go away from it. And yeah, again, I feel like you know, because they're Sunnis, they're blind. They don't know how to fight. They don't know how to deal with this situation because Sunnis are, they killed that part. They killed Imam Hussein. They left the prophet and his family. You know, yeah. So they, that part that resist, they cut that off out of their Muslim body. So that's why they don't know how to. So you get the two extremes here. You get the one on the left who is like a coward basically, and he's trying to say, "No, I'm not a coward. I'm not even scared, but you know, but we should not do that at all." And then you got the other extreme, which is unwise, just attacking recklessly. The correct path is somewhere in between. Is that you attack, just not recklessly. It's a more calculated, more smart. There are ways to go about this in a way that not necessarily push us towards attacking them, but in defense.
To Australia, who banned me for being anti-Semitic, and also we've established that they will.
I know,
they
man.
will,
I know you keep explaining that to me.
I know,
like
but I'm
said,
also
you're doing wrong.
I'm
You're not
explaining
doing
that
wrong, you know?
no matter what I say, they will find a reason
Yes.
to get up. They will chimp out no matter what. If I'm praying in Times Square,
Sure.
they get upset. Right? The kindergartners wearing
Okay.
hijab, they get upset. No matter
I ask you a
what we
question?
do, no matter
I'll ask you a
us
question.
existing is rage bait to them. Don't you understand? Like, so
Okay.
yes, this is provocative to them, but us existing is provocative to them.
Okay, look, Sneako. How many years have I been doing da'wah?
Far longer than me.
Okay, I've been doing da'wah for
Stick had it. It's so funny. Like, okay.
a very long. Do you think people like me? The disbelievers like me?
I think they respect you. I don't think they like you.
Okay, they don't like me. So now let me ask you a question. Can you find any clip which they can use, one specific clip, which can be used that can get tens of thousands and goes viral of me? And I have like hundreds of videos, if not thousands of videos online, right? One clip that they can use of me to push that propaganda that will go so viral.
No.
Why? Because it's about how you word yourself. I agree with you. They will use whatever they will use. But if I'm wording myself in a specific way, even if they try to cut it, take it out of
Okay, we're just going around in circles here. I want to see something new.
which is best, not take him.
Consume me. And so, yeah, it's going to take a long time, but
And don't get me wrong. I think you're
I think Sneako is like, what the hell, man? What am I supposed to do here? I'm being crushed. I have no way to fight back. This guy is not giving me any way to fight back. What the hell do I do? This is how his eyes look like.
doing a lot of good. Don't get me wrong. I think you're doing a lot of good. I'm saying if we tone it a little bit, I think it needs to be toned down a little
majority
bit.
good or majority bad?
I would say majority of what I've seen, I told you, I've been really busy, I haven't been keeping up, but majority of what I've seen have been doing a lot of good. Okay? That's what I've seen. So you've been trying to study about Islam a lot.
I'm sorry. Jeez. Dude, he literally... I was, both me and Sneako, I think we were both just trying to listen to him. And, he, you know, are you doing good? Are you doing bad? And he said, you're doing a lot of good. And Sneako looked at him, a lot of harm? When your mind wants to see or hear something, it really does, you know. That was so funny. That was one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. You know, you said harm? All right.
Good.
Okay.
You've been studying about you've been studying
Look, Sneako, if you hear me, most likely in 100 years you won't see this, right? You will not see this, Sneako. But if you could hear me, right? If for anybody who is like Sneako, anybody who's influenced by Sneako, please listen to this. You should not care about what another human being thinks of you, especially in a situation like this, right? Sneako is betting so much on like, oh, Muslim Lantern thinks I'm doing good. Who is Muslim Lantern? Why do you think that Muslim Lantern is a good ruler to judge yourself by? He's not. You know, he is good at debating Christians. That doesn't make him better than you in many ways, you know? You are better than Muslim Lanterns in many other ways. Why do you take him to be the judge of you? That if he says that you're doing a lot of good, then you're so content, you're so happy, like, oh. That was so childish. You know, we should not be like that. We should not judge ourselves based on people, especially in this situation.
About Islam, you've been watching videos to educate yourself, you've been educating yourself as a Muslim, you've been calling out some of the the nerds that claim to be Muslims in the streaming community. You've been doing a lot of things which are, everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? But so you've been doing some good, some very, very good there, right? What I'm saying, I'm not saying you're doing wrong, I'm saying you need to tone.
Is he talking about Hassan Biker?
The richer color, very a lot of things which are, everybody knows what I'm talking about, right? But so you've been doing some good, some very, very good there, right? What I'm saying, I'm not saying you're doing wrong, I'm saying you need to tone the rhetoric a little bit. I mean, maybe look, send it to someone who you think is balanced before you make a tweet and you think, okay, you know, get in the rage baiting mode. Just send it to someone. Perhaps reword it a little bit, you know? I mean, trust me, look,
You're right.
Wanting to be viral is not it.
No, but it's really, wallahi, it's not the need to be viral or the want to be viral. And that's the reason I'm having this conversation with you. I wanted to ask you.
Right. I mean, we're just moving in circles here. I don't want to go over it again.
Are misusing your clip. None of them are going to hear this context. None of them is going to know about this.
But
so it's going to be used in the wrong way.
Do you see everything we do gets used in the wrong way? Like they misrepresent.
No, this is what
Dude, we're just going in circles.
they want to see.
From a place where even James Fishback, he's running for governor of Florida, he was calling for my deportation. He calls in and he's like basically backtracking everything. He was just coping. I think that I have a unique ability because I am born in New York City. Deport sneako, well, I'm from here. Well, Islam is a brown religion. It's an Arab religion. Well, I'm Asian and Haitian and white and Jewish. Like, I'm none of these things. I go to Indonesia and I'm showing that the biggest Muslim country in the world is Indonesia. So instead of trying to, because if we always try to avoid their hatred, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be able to say salam alaikum. We wouldn't be able to practice. We wouldn't be able to.
See, this is where Sneako has a point. I think we do need to talk about this, about what is the correct way of going about a situation like that. They both have some points, and as I said, you know, I think because they're both Sunnis, you know, they miss this Shia element of how to fight as an underdog like this. They you know, you got the two extremes that are mismatched, both not exactly sure what the other is talking about.
Pray everything we do.
That's why I'm saying.
I think it's worthwhile.
That's why I'm saying.
I think it's worthwhile to just embrace and just take the propaganda and be in control of it rather than letting it control you.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. I think you're taking it to the extreme. Once you're saying just bow your head and be a loser, and the other is okay. Let's just so if you enrage, like there's a middle ground. Why not take the middle ground? What you're doing now is what some you know.
Circles. Go in circles. I don't like when it goes in circles. I'm not learning anything new.
You realize we have sisters, right? We have families, and they get attacked. They are cowards, so they go attack the women. They go attack the hijabi woman. They go attack. That's what they do.
They're trying to assassinate me right now. Like
you know, yeah. So I'm telling you, our rhetoric can be very dangerous on our families, on our people. It's not as simple as, oh, let's be there. We also have to look at the situation and also understand that what we say has an influence on what happens to our people as well. What happens to other Muslims
we
as well.
Can't stop.
So that's why we
they're
need to
going to continue
careful.
this rhetoric. They're going to look for anything, right? I know. I understand your perspective and you have valid points.
Minimizing and stopping. You get what I'm saying?
There's a
Minimizing and stopping.
They'll clip up anything.
Yeah.
Like there was an example 2 years ago. It's on my birthday. Myron brings his dog to my.
While Muslim Lantern has a point, I just want to say that this is because, you know, like, yes, you could say like, oh, let's protect ourselves in the short term, but this might be unprotecting yourself in the long term. Because as Sneako said, if we keep hiding and we keep not talking about this and we keep, and we're not getting damaged now, eventually in 10 years from now, we're gonna be put into concentration camps. So we need to face it early on. I agree with Sneako about that. As I said, they need a Shia brother there.
Apartment, and it takes a big dump on my rug. And I was on Dean then. I was praying 5 times, and I capitulated. Yes. I said, okay, I'll allow the dog in my house. The dog takes a big dump on my rug. And so I go to the camera and I'm clip farming. I'm like, I hate dogs. Have a kid. Why do you have a dog? Like, I'm joking around. They clip that to this day. Whenever they want to slander me, they say, look, Muslims hate dogs. Even though clearly I'm making a joke. Clearly they're leaving out the context. So I'm at the point where years of doing this and of trying to my best, they will do anything to slander and anything to inspire hate.
I know what you're saying. It's cool, no problem. But listen, I'm a non-Muslim. Let's say I'm a non-Muslim, and I watch all this clip. This Muslim guy hates dogs. It's not going to cause anybody to be attacked. You're missing the point I'm trying to make, the general point, right? Yes, they will do it.
No, this is wrong. It will cause somebody to be attacked. It will, because it's like it's a one brick at a time sort of thing.
But it's not going to serve their propaganda. It doesn't matter. Let them think that Muslims hate. Someone's going to go do research. He's going to ask his Muslim. What he's going to do is going to lead more people to Islam. Why? Because if I'm your Muslim friend, you're going to be like, is it true that you guys hate dogs? I'm going to be like, no, here you go. Here is this example. Allah uses them in the Quran. We can use them for hunting. We can have them for farming. We have them for protection. Allah uses them as an example for the people of the cave, that the dog was their protection. We don't, there's a whole school of thought in Islam.
Okay, we get it. We don't
hate dogs. I'm going to go fight you now. I'm talking about the content that serves their propaganda, which I'm not talking about general. I'm specifically talking about the content that serves their propaganda. You want to show that you're a Muslim, you're eating food with your hand, or whatever other things that you want to show that they don't like. Keep doing it. If it's your faith, we have nothing to compromise there. Like it or don't like it, we don't care. That's an issue I actually had with the recent debate that happened in Oxford. There was this.
Things are not as simple as Muslim Lantern is making it to be. There are tactics. There are deliberate, smart tactics to go about all of this. Sneako is just going to the wrong person.
A woman. I don't know her name. I never seen her. She was trying to do what you said. Even though and she's been praised by Muslims, I was like, why Muslim praising her? She talked about, for example, the marriage of the Prophet or some other things, and she misrepresented Islamic positions, things that they would like to hear, that the average person would like to hear. That's what you would say if you want to keep them to like you. You're like, oh no, Imam Malik said that the Prophet actually didn't marry Aisha at this age. That's a lie. He rejected this hadith. What nonsense are you talking about? That doesn't exist in Islam. But they would like to hear that. That would appease them, right? I'm saying no, don't do that. Say the truth. We say the truth, we stick on the truth. In this issue, I spoke to you before because I had a discussion with someone, you were telling him about the hadith being, I told you no, say the truth. Whether they like the truth or they don't like the truth, I couldn't care less. But I'm saying stick on the truth, don't serve the propaganda. I'm not saying put your head down. Muslims need to have honor. Muslims need to have izzah. I had a recent discussion like a few days ago. I was in the da'wah table giving da'wah and this woman came to me and she just dared to try to insult Muslim women. And then I went and I I told her she wants to go to naked beaches. I was like, you consider yourself an animal that wants to go to naked beaches. Don't talk about our women. I told her straightforward. I'll tell her like this. Who cares? We don't care. We're not going to pretend, but we say things the way they are.
Although I disagree with the way that he worded that, to be like an animal while they are like an animal. Is it wise to say that? Probably not. But, he has a point. I understand.
Are the truth, the way the truth is, right? I'm saying, it's all about serving the propaganda. That's all I want you to keep in mind. What am I saying now? Is it going to serve that civil war fighting propaganda? It's not just going to influence me. It's going to influence weak women. It's going to influence children. It's going to influence people who can't defend themselves. Because these cowards, you saw that video of Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Rubinstein, when he was like going back and falling. That gives him trauma until this day, by the way. These three guys, because this is how they are when they actually see real men. And they go, they hide, they run away. They only have to be in groups, drunk. They go drink something so they can get some confidence. Because, alcohol gives you confidence. You drink a little bit, you're in a group, and you go attack one person. That's how they do it. It's never a man-to-man thing.
No.
So I only worry about our people, our families. I don't worry about myself. I've been doing that for a very long time. I told you. I've been on the streets every single day. I couldn't care less. It's if something happened in the end, I'm rewarded in the afterlife. Who cares? Nobody's afraid of you. They should.
After this, I'll play this. Let me know how about لا تخف ولا تحزن. I don't know if it has an English translation. I'll try to find one.
Be afraid. We're not the ones afraid. Why should they be afraid? Because they are upon disbelief. They will go to hellfire. In the end.
I think a lot of Muslims are afraid. I mean, even Prophet Muhammad.
They are. I agree.
He prophesies that in the end of times, one of the signs is that we'll be large in numbers, but the Muslims will love.
Yeah. Like I told you, I like a lot of what you've been doing because what you did, I am a crazy person. Okay, these two kids, you know what they said in their manifesto, right? Yeah. They're like, oh, the Muslims are going to take over and this and that. We need to stop this right now. So when they see your video saying, oh, we're going to every country, you think that is going to help them more to be like, oh, we're not going to go to the mosque or let's go to the mosque? Come on, let's be honest. If they see that video, they're not going to be like, oh, let me go check out sneako's video where he actually.
But they can say that about anything you say. They can say like, oh, look at what.
No, it's not in the same way. So Muslim Lantern, he has again, it's really like, I just hate the fact that they don't have a Shia person there to just bring out what you're supposed to actually do.
They think about the age of marriage. Look at what they think about.
Plus, I think we're looping a little bit. I think we're looping a little bit.
We are,
but
the
same thing.
They can say, they will say that about anything, and they do.
That's why I'm saying I don't agree necessarily. I'm not saying.
Yeah, they are looping.
I want you to understand the nuance in what I'm telling you. The nuance, my concern, there's.
And where I disagree, because you said like sometimes like it's overall good, but some things can be damaging. I would argue
that is with PBD. He had.
I don't think that they got out of much from this the discussion. I think that they looped so much. I think that they're misunderstanding each other. You know, one person says, like it doesn't matter what you do, they will do that, and the other person saying no, don't say stuff in that way, and both of them are correct in some way, and they're not seeing each other face to face. I don't think either of them understand what the other person is talking about.
Them on the stream, and he was at.
See, this is the Sunnis' blind spot. This is why they're deviant Muslims, because they have a blind spot here where the resistance should be. They don't know how to resist.
Them on the Tate thing, and you know what the first thing they were saying? He said the Muslim human trafficking brothers or the Muslim OF brothers or whatever, and these people supported him, and they're like, yeah, Islam is leading you to do that, and all of this nonsense, right? When the reality is, when first one of the Tate brothers is not even a Muslim. You liars. He's nothing about Islam. The second guy never talk about Islam, except he got one viral clip and that's it. He doesn't talk about Islam, doesn't promote Islam. He never says, I'm doing this because I'm a Muslim. Then when they did all of that, they were Christians. They were the Christian human trafficking brothers.
Great point.
So these Christians that are trying to call them Muslims, why don't you go speak about they were on your faith when they did this? They didn't do this when they were Muslims. They did it when you were on your faith. So if they're following any faith, they're following your faith. So that fake Pierce loser, when they told him, one of them highlighted,
this is actually a very great point. Like Andrew Tate, after becoming a Muslim, he can't get away with as much as when he was a Christian. You know what I'm saying? He can't do the same shit and expect no pushback. So this is this tells you which faith is what.
One of the brothers is not Muslim. He said, really? Is he not Muslim? As if he doesn't know. Of course you know. Or you're a loser who didn't do his research, who doesn't know how to do his research, right? Either or. But they were Christians when they were doing it. So why are you not calling them out for being Christians? Now you asked a question, right? Can you remind me, sorry, about the question because I went on this tangent.
So they're saying be charitable because I'm making.
Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry,
I'm making a lot of jokes about it
him.
because they're locked up, and they're having.
No. Let me tell you this. Yeah. Allah says in the Quran, لا يحب الله الجهر بالسوء من القول إلا من ظلم. Allah doesn't love that someone says something back in defense to himself.
And this
it can apply to a Muslim as well. Yes. If just because I'm a Muslim, I don't have a free pass to come and do injustice to you, and then you just remain silent. No. So you are allowed to return the same way to that person. Now, whether he's a Muslim or not, that's something that nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what he has in his heart.
Huh?
I mean, look, you're not. The best thing to do with the haters is to ignore them. That's something I've realized. The best thing, if I give you
look, this is yeah, this is like this is I said it like 10 times by now, and I'm not shy to repeat it. You know, they don't know how to resist. Sneako is coming to the wrong person. You know, this guy is gonna give you the way to deal with what you're dealing with, the same way that the Saudi government, same way that Dubai is dealing with their stuff. Allah will just, just continue going forward and let the dogs bark, They don't know how to resist. That's why they will not guide you about how to resist. Because they don't know how. Because that's not because they killed Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein came and was like, I am your Imam. The Prophet chose Ali, and Ali chose Hassan, and Hassan chose Hussein. He didn't let this to go to just make a democracy. No, and what they did, they killed him. And that's what you get. You get a neutered Islam. You get an Islam that is incomplete. Where you can't resist. You don't know how to resist. You have no idea. You have no way. It's like, just not do anything about him. And Sneako, he has a good fitrah. He has a good instinct. That he feels this resistance coming out of his body. He's like, I need to resist. I need to resist. I need to do something about it. And, he's just not giving him anything. Man, it's Sneako. I think he's facing a dilemma here. I think Sneako is either eventually will become Shia or he will eventually stray away from Islam altogether, because he knows in his heart that this is not the correct way to go about it.
One piece of advice throughout my years, I've had many haters, and I still have many haters. I don't give them the time of the day. That's where you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Patience. كعود زاده الإحراق طيبة. Like, piece of wood, that the more you burn it, the more good smell will comes up. إذا نطق السفيه فلا تجيبه. If the evil person speaks, don't answer him.
Safih is not the evil person. Safih is a silly person. He's sort of like an Alex Jones personality. It's like he's like an agitator. He's like a pig. He rolls in the mud and he wants you to roll with him.
It is better that you don't answer them than you are silent.
So when Elon
because
Musk,
the more you're silent,
the richest man in the world, who owns Twitter, the website where all the discourse happens, inspiring all these people to repeat the same thing. When they're selling a shirt that says deport Sneako, when Jigsaw Lord, when all the Zionists repeat the rhetoric, when they're actively tagging the FBI, trying to get
Sneako has a point, man. You need to do something about that. You can't just stand there and do nothing. You gotta speak about it.
me arrested, trying to get doxing my location.
Sure.
Have to ignore
Protect yourself and defend yourself. No. That's where you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. There's a difference when something is personal, like the issue with
the Muslim lantern. So I'm starting to understand more of the blind spot that I was just talking about, like specifically where it lays. It lays so he has the general concept. They're like, yes, Islam does allow you to resist, to fight back. But when it comes to the technicalities of it, he's not getting it right. It's sort of like, if you tell somebody to go, like if somebody stops you in the street and they're like, hey, where can I find the hospital? And you can't tell him the general direction, like, oh, it's that way. And like, where exactly? And then you'd be like, oh, it's that way. That way is not a specific direction enough, And so this is what's been going on, I think, into this conversation. This is the cause of why this keeps looping. Because, he says, yes, resist, but how? He's not giving a specific way, And his Sneako, I don't think, he's a little confused, He's like, what should I do in this situation? Am I not supposed to resist? This is the only resistance form that I'm allowed?
the Baldy is in prison. That's why I defended you as well. You remember what I said?
I know. Right? Thank you. So again,
he went for your family. He went for your family. Did I just say let's forgive him? No, I went for him before you, right?
So defend yourself first, and then forgive.
Yes. I'm talking about things which are personal. That you now when it comes to Islam and this guy attacking you, no, you defend yourself. You say no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm talking about transgressing and saying something which is not nice back, right? You can do that. If he says something to you, say something. You're right to say something which is not nice back. There's no problem. But you could defend yourself without saying anything, right? Nobody's saying don't defend yourself. Like you see, I also tweeted about this.
Sneako is, I think he's like putting two and two together. He was like, yeah, there's something missing here.
Genius who calls himself Elon Musk, who knows nothing. He clearly has no brain because he uses the word deport, and you cannot deport someone who's a citizen because of the immigration thing, right? He just went to a country, he just posted, oh, I just got this passport. Everybody on Twitter went crazy. Just because the guy said, I got a passport. We were following the law. You don't like the law? Go deal with the law. Don't come deal with us, right? Nobody's breaking the law here. Nobody's doing anything wrong.
Right. I appreciate this conversation, and no, I don't want to keep you too long, but basically what I'm hearing from your, you have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of I'm perhaps acting very vindictive, but it's a test. It's like this is an attack that I haven't seen many people have to deal with, and inshallah I do the best I possibly.
Yeah, that's why. Look, that's why the piece of poetry that I'm telling you, it says, if you speak back, you give him what he wanted. فإن كلمته فرجت عنه وإن خليته, if you leave him, he will die of suffocation because you don't even care about him. You're gonna die suffocating because you didn't even give him.
I don't know if this is correct. Like this works with maybe like in some situations, but this is not the situation where this would necessarily work.
Him a response back. These people like it more when you speak about them. They like.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what they're aiming for. I don't think that there's. So this is something that you can do with people who seek attention, right? I don't think they're trying to seek attention necessarily. I think they're trying to demonize Muslims, right? So when you're being demonized, you have to be like, no, I'm not what they say. You have to defend yourself, right? Because the purpose is demonizing you. So yeah, I think that Muslim Lantern is dead wrong here. Those people that he's talking about, they're not gonna, they're not trying to seek attention. They're trying to seek to demonize Muslims. These are two different things.
Like it more when you respond. They like it more when they hear that, oh, you're not happy about what they're saying. They like it more. But you could defend yourself by just refuting like in a very calm way, refuting what they're saying. No problem. But not sticking on like.
No, you don't need to be calm. Screw calmness. What are you talking about? Calm, you say.
Every stream talking about the same person or the same incident or over and over. You get what I'm saying? Or when something happens to them that you're talking about it. Because then people will be like, okay, this is very vindictive, it's very personal. I'm saying it for your own growth, for your own mental peace, for your own clarity. You're
Nope. Dude, this is one of the worst advice I've ever heard. Look, doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, if you're a non-Muslim, if you're going through trauma, blah, blah, healing does not always come with like peace. At least not outwardly, Many times healing will make you angry. It will make you angry because your soul is not ecstatic, You can't just be at peace like, no, you'll be like, no, screw the enemy, man. Like, it's like you're and it's something that you have to incorporate. This is what Muslim Lantern, I don't think he gets it because I don't think he's been in a situation where his heart and his soul became like that, or maybe he was just too indoctrinated as a Sunni,
realize you're even better when you ignore these people. You realize you're feeling better, your life is better. You're focusing more on productive things. You're focusing on things which are improving you as a person than wasting time talking about them, which people already know how idiotic they are. Over and over again, they heard it a million times. Nobody cares about them.
Right, but it does transcend that. Not to go on this forever, but like people like Elon Musk are literally tied up with the Trump administration. They're there with Benjamin Netanyahu. They are there with Mossad trying to manipulate the algorithm. It's not just like this is a random influencer. These are the most. This is the richest man in the world. Like this is what changes the world.
Yeah, no, you could speak. You should speak. Nobody says that you shouldn't speak about this. Absolutely. That's why I'm less. I couldn't care less about it. The overall Islam look bad? I don't think so. That's why I couldn't care less if they take this. I'll reward you for it. I can give when I spend time for how long we say harakat.
All right, this is a dead conversation. I think that Sneako learned a little bit, but I don't think he got his thing. I just want to play. Just let me. Kind of wonder if. Come on, where's the? Man, I don't have Arabic on my keyboard. So I gotta guess where the letters are. I wonder if I think this is at least. Is this this is part of it? I love to like.
ای دوست دلت روشن لا تخبلا از نره اهریمن پروا نکن از دشمن نصرت برسد قطر نه هراسیم از این جنگ اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو.
Dude, this is. I kind of wonder if there's like a full English version of that. Come on. All right, let's see. Does this have a translated version? Yeah, it's English.
روشن لا تخف ای دوست دلت روشن لا تخف بلا ای دوست دلت روشن از نره اهریمن پروا نکن از دشمن پروا نکن از دشمن نصرت برسد قطر نصرت برسد قطر به شب تیره کم کم برسد نور مطلق نه هراسیم از این جنگ نه هراسیم از این جنگ اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو علی الحق اول اسنو. شوق شهادت ما را تا کربلا میخواند شوق شهادت ما را تا کربلا میخواند آری یزید میمیرد اما حسین میماند اما حسین میماند اقترب الساعة الله في الساعة اقترب الساعة الله في الساعة ای فاتح قربانگاه ای فاتح قربانگاه فریاد حقیقت خواه خون تو چراغ راه ما ننساک والله ما ننساک والله نرود جای دیگر دل ما زین حوالی چون علی اکبرت گفت بالموت لا نبالی بالموت لا نبالی بالموت لا نبالی تنها صدا میماند گربان که حق سر دادن کاخ یزید ویران شد خاک حسین آباد است خاک حسین آباد است اقترب الساعة الله فی الساعة اقترب الساعة.
Yeah, so this is for you. This is for everybody who is, who feels, I love listening to these music from time to time, and I have nobody watching me, so all right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed my opinions on this. Please stay strong and don't budge.